What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Game Channel. My name is AJ Gels. How y'all doing? I am finally bringing back the weekly news show, and I thought, you know what? I finally kind of found the first, super big piece of news this year that I wanted to talk about. Granted, I'm talking about it days later. I did an earlier take during the finale of my Far Cry 6 LP, but I've just been busy the last couple days, haven't had time to really sit down and record this video. So I'm going to be going over a whole bunch of channel stuff at the end, talking about upcoming projects as far as LPs go, what the schedule for the weekly show moving forward will be, and just my general idea, because I mentioned this way earlier in the year, that kind of my New Year's resolution, because last year I was super lax on my uploading. I'd go days where I'd upload a shitload and then just nothing for a while, and then it's all over the place. I'm really trying to change that. I'm really trying to stick to an uploading schedule and everything, and again, I will go over all that stuff at the end of the video. Real quick synopsis, if you heard me say weekly show and you're a fairly new viewer of the channel, say, hey, AJ, what's that? Well, when I first started the channel, I started doing weekly news wrap-ups. I brought articles, I talked about them. It's changed and evolved mildly throughout my whole time of doing this as a channel. Originally I filmed it on my iPhone, and then I went to screen capture and everything, but generally I take news from around the week, and I sit and just we read articles, we watch videos, I give my my uneducated takes or whatever, and you agree, disagree, whatever, call me an idiot or whatever. I said whatever a few too many times in that sentence. Oh well. But either way, so let's actually get into the important things, or else I'm just going to sit here and ramble for another 20 minutes. Activision has been bought, or Activision Blizzard, to use the actual term of the company, has been bought out by Microsoft. And I think the doomsday reaction that so many channels were making, that so many publications were talking about. I mean, hell, Sony's stock price fucking went into the toilet. Well, maybe not toilet, but it dropped. I think the one article I saw said 20 billion, and that is billion with a B. We're not Dr. Eviling. We're going a little more than that. So clearly, people were freaking out about this take. We're going to look at another article, a very short article. All of this is compiled by Push Square, which is a PlayStation-centric publication. But frankly, as far as gaming news outlets go, they're kind of my go-to. They're the ones that have really kind of kept me the last couple of years. So again, just biases kind of out on the table. I'm also a PlayStation fan and a PlayStation guy over Xbox. So again, like I said, biases out on the table. But like I said, I think the doomsday perspective is just a little much. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's a bad move by Microsoft. I think I was talking in the comments with a longtime watcher of the channel, where I basically said, hey man, I'm not saying this is good for Sony. I mean, clearly look at the fact that their stock price tanked. I think that's going to pop right back up, because, I mean, stock price is just stock price, again, I'm not an expert, but as far as I understand it, stock price isn't just how you sell, it's the public vision of your company. So yeah, I think seeing a big company like Activision Blizzard, which, let's also be honest, this was a buyout of Call of Duty. Oh, they also got World of Warcraft and Overwatch and Spyro and Crash Bandicoot. Okay, do any of those come to what Call of Duty can make a company? So, and hell, even then, we've seen articles from Microsoft that they're saying at the time they're not having any plans to completely go console exclusive for games like Call of Duty and everything. Frankly, if I had to make a guess, what's going to happen is that story mode versions of Call of Duty are going to go to Xbox only, or Xbox and PC, because, Microsoft. But you can still play Warzone and Call of Duty Online, which is the biggest portion of Call of Duty on PlayStation. So I don't see PlayStation losing too much on this. I think this article mentions how Call of Duty is a very big part of PlayStation sales, but again, well, I'll get more into it as we kind of dig down into some more specifics. But right now, while I'm just kind of rambling and ranting, I think people are just making something big out of something that really doesn't matter too much. Matter too much isn't the right way to say this. I mentioned, I was talking with somebody else on the channel. I said, basically, this is not a good thing for Sony. But is this a kill shot? Not really. Partly because I think Sony's got enough. They've got enough first-party stuff to compete with the Call of Duty. Plus, okay. To me, Sony's so much more than just this one big shooter. Kind of, like what made the 360 so great was all the first-person shooters. Plus, God of War, Gears of War, and whatnot. But Sony has always been a lot more diversified in what kind of genres have really made them great. Between RPGs, action adventure. Those are the two that are coming to mind right now. So I think that their list of first-party games can clearly outdo this. I mean, hell, what do we've got this year? We've got Horizon Forbidden West. There we go. I couldn't think of the subtitle. Hogwarts Legacy, God of War, Ragnarok is supposed to be in 2022. I'm not sure when Insomniac's next Spider-Man game is coming, but, we know that's also coming down the pike. So, yeah, I think Sony's got enough to compete with this, and then I also don't ever want to overestimate Microsoft's ability to fuck things up, because I've not made it secret. I don't like Phil Spencer. I don't like Microsoft's approach to video games, especially how they've been approaching this. This more service and streaming focused idea. It's just, I don't think technology and everything's where it needs to be right now to push all that. I think Microsoft's making bad choices. I don't think they're investing enough in their franchises. Hell, I mean, they buy all of these studios. You always hear Microsoft at E3 is like, we've bought all these studios. Okay, well, what the fuck are they doing? You're making tiny little indie projects that aren't getting any recognition in the news, that you're not promoting at all. Hell, when was the last time you heard anything about Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, or is it Hellblade 2? Whatever the sequel to Hellblade is. They pick up Ninja Theory because Hellblade was such a success on the PlayStation 4. We're going to make the sequel. When was the last time you heard anything about it? I've really kind of gone away from video game news for the past while. I can't remember the last time I heard anything. It might be over a year since I've last heard something about Hellblade 2. So, yeah, I do not I do not underestimate Microsoft's ability to mess this massive studio. Well, come on, Activision's kind of messed up on its own. Let's look at what they did, I guess it was more the Blizzard side with the Diablo fiasco not too long ago. The fact that Activision Blizzard seems to have multiple issues with abuse and whatnot in its workforce. It's just constantly Activision Blizzard is in the news for not so good things. So, okay, they bought this for $70 billion. Is that really a great move there, Microsoft? Hell, I'm surprised that the Bethesda sale didn't get more of this attention, and maybe I'm just not remembering it correctly, but man, that Bethesda one actually worried me for a little bit. And then again, I remembered, oh yeah, it's Microsoft. I bet they'll fuck this up somehow. But that's, whatever. There's my rambliness. Let's actually read some articles and all that. As usual, you can find all of these links down in the description below if you would like to go check my work, so to speak. All right, article reads, and once more, this is Push Square. This is Sammy Barker reaction, Activision Blizzard buyout is devastating for PS5, PS4. Is this the end of PlayStation? It's always easy to get apocalyptic in situations like this, but it's obviously not. Sony's gaming division remains a wildly popular brand globally, and no single publisher can ever detract from that. Make no mistake, though, Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard for $70 billion, I still think they overpaid. Is a blow of unprecedented scale. This isn't just a haymaker or a right hook. It's the manufacturer slumped against the ropes, blood dripping from its mouth, while it desperately gasps for air. And that's where I think you're playing up this doomsday element. I don't think it's that bad for them. And again, I keep pointing out that I think that was an overpay, and I'm sure some people would say, AJ, Call of Duty, with how big of a franchise it is. Sure, but how much dead weight did you pull in with that just to get Call of Duty is how I kind of look at it. But again, maybe that's just me. I'm not a multiplayer guy. I'm a single-player fan. I'm just sitting here ranting and rambling. If you can tell, I'm very stream of consciousness after that first 10 minutes of me just making no goddamn sense. So take whatever I say with a grain of salt, or for whatever you will. I'm just saying. You might not like Call of Duty or any of Activision Blizzard's games. Hey, but you need to understand this. Every year, the publisher's first-person shooter is one of the biggest games on PlayStation. Call of Duty Vanguard actually underperformed a little, meaning in terms of 2021 PlayStation sales, it was forced to sit behind FIFA 22 and NBA 2K22 in Europe and North America, respectively. But typically, it's Call of Duty at the top, year in, year out. And all its players contribute enormously to Sony's bottom line, be it through microtransactions or PlayStation Plus subscriptions. Okay, here's where we're going to get into some more questions. Like I said, I think that I think stuff like Warzone is not going away from PlayStation. I don't think Microsoft's going to make that move. I don't think they have the guts to make that move. I think it goes against their idea of this console-less future. Everybody always tries to sell me that everything's going to be puppies and rainbows, and there was going to be some other stuff I was going to say, but I'll leave it to your imagination. Future where there are no exclusives and everyone can play everything, and everyone's playing on PC quality, HD that you can view while you're sleeping. I don't fucking... people try and sell me on this, and I just don't see it happening. Greed is too much of a of a pull that I don't see anyone just bowing down to Microsoft and giving up on exclusives and everything like that. Plus, Microsoft views of that future where Microsoft gets all the money. So it's an exclusiveless future because we're the only game in town. God, I hate you, Microsoft. I don't want to say that because I don't hate them, but I kind of hate them. I don't know. It's a very odd relationship. Let's move on. But what I'm saying is I don't see stuff like Warzone going away. So, okay, maybe you'll lose a little bit on the microtransaction line, but your PS Plus subscriptions, I don't see Call of Duty being the reason your PS Plus subscriptions are so popular. Yeah, was Call of Duty Vanguard, like I said, the third highest or whatever behind FIFA and NBA? Okay, sure. It was your second highest selling game. But I look at it as this. Are people who have their PS5, they can't buy Call of Duty. Okay, maybe they can play it online or whatever, but they can't play the next iteration or whatever. They can't buy it. Let's say Microsoft makes it all exclusive on them. Okay, so now you have 60, 70, however many dollars you were going to spend on your Call of Duty game. Are you just not going to give that to PlayStation? Are you not going to buy another game on PlayStation? I don't know. Maybe I'm just... Maybe I have a poor view of economics or whatever, but I don't see this as being as big a hit to Sony's bottom line as people are saying. Again, this is what I keep saying. This is not a good situation, but I don't think this is an end of the world, oh my gosh, we need to panic situation. It's just like everyone keeps saying that Sony needs to come up with a response to oh my god, what's that thing that I don't like on Xbox? The Game Pass. There we go. And everybody keeps trying to tell me, AJ, Game Pass is great. And I'm just like, it's another subscription that I just don't need. I'll just buy my games and do it like I've always done because it's easier. I'm fine with paying for my games. I don't want a subscription service where I can maybe play all this. It's just overly complicated to me. But I'm also a bit of a boomer, so, whatever. Let's move on. Now, it's still unclear whether Activision Blizzard games will become exclusives, but we've been here before. There were a number of wishy-washy statements released about Bethesda before the buyout cleared, and then suddenly there was no more Starfield. Ultimately, we can infer a lot from this particular situation. Oh, yeah, Starfield. I totally forgot about that game. Because, again, I saw it once and then not again. It's, no more Starfield. We're not seeing that. Well, okay, but whose fault is that? That's Microsoft. It's not like, they're taking it away. So, yeah, so Microsoft walks in, takes away my toys, and you think I'm just gonna follow like a little kid? No, I'm an adult. I can understand that Microsoft came in, took over, and is now gonna run the company into the ground. Oh, that sucks. Okay, I guess my money's going elsewhere. I don't know. I think this also maybe thinks people are dumber than they are. I'm not an expert in anything. I don't read books. I can only say what this looks like to me. Like I said earlier, my uneducated opinion. Ultimately, we can infer a lot from this particular situation. Service-driven games, and I just gotta shiver up my spine like a ghost passed through me. Ugh, I hate that concept. Like Call of Duty Warzone, for example, may remain. I'm willing to bet you it will, but that's beside the point. That's been true of titles like Fallout 76, after all. Yeah, thank God we still have Fallout 76. But anything else is almost certainly gone for good. The implications to Sony's bottom line cannot be understated. In the cold light of day, looking back, the Bethesda buyout for $7.5 billion did make sense. I still can't believe they got Bethesda for $7.5 billion, but it took 70 to get. I still think we are overvaluing Call of Duty, but again, whatever. Maybe I'm crazy. This was a publisher that was signing timid exclusivity deals with Sony and was reducing the price of its games drastically within months of their release. It was also a privately owned organization. Activision Blizzard is publicly traded. Okay. Fair. Although its stocks have taken a battering of late, presumably making it all the more enticing to Microsoft's upper management. Still, we're talking $70 billion in cash here. It's to labor a point, unprecedented. So what's next for Sony? Well, this isn't the end, obviously, but we may be witnessing the beginning of the end for PlayStation as the market leader. Wholly disagree. The Japanese giant has done an outstanding job of growing its intellectual property over the past 15 years, and it's now the steward of some of the biggest brands in gaming, which is exactly why I think it will survive. But it's not Nintendo, and it's always used its exclusives and additive to a robust third-party content slate. The removal of Bethesda was a blow. It could weather, but Activision Blizzard is a gut punch that's going to leave the company battered and bruised. And again, really? I see the money that would go to the Call of Duty sales would go to other places in PlayStation. I mean, you got a PS5 with how fucking hard those things are to get, and you're just not going to use it because, I can't play Call of Duty, so I'm not going to play my PlayStation. I'm not going to buy new games. Really? And again, I like Sam Barker, but I just don't see this as... I can't even make a comparison. I keep saying I don't see this as a doomsday scenario because that would require people to, like I said, just go, there's no Call of Duty. Oh, nope, I can't play. Just because Call of Duty sells extremely well, that money won't go elsewhere. That money still won't be spent on Sony properties. That money still won't. Maybe if you only play Call of Duty, then you could maybe buy. Maybe that's where you're saying, okay, I'm gonna forgo the PlayStation and just get an Xbox. If I only play Activision Blizzard games, but really, other than Call of Duty, so much else is, so much else is, yeah, I'm not sure where I'm going with this. I'm just kind of rambling now, but, and also the comparison to Nintendo. Look, Nintendo has always been, look, when we talk the console war, really it's Microsoft and PlayStation, or it's, Sony, Microsoft, however the hell you want to phrase it. It's those two. Nintendo's always kind of danced to its own drum. It's focused a lot more on the mobile market. It's focused a lot more in different spaces. So bringing up Nintendo, I think is kind of a weird thing to bring up there. But yeah, I really don't see this loss as being the big why I wouldn't play PlayStation anymore. Because again, if you think of why I'm going to play PlayStation, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Harry Potter, Hogwarts Legacy, or whatever the hell it's going to be called. I'm actually still very excited for that game. Spider-Man. There are so many properties that make me a Sony fan that are not Call of Duty. And again, maybe I'm thinking of it too much from a personal perspective, and maybe I'm thinking too broadly. I don't, are my two ways of thinking of this. Maybe I'm not thinking about it the specific way this guy's thinking about it, but I just do not see this as battering and bruising the company. I don't know. We won't see a change in the immediate future. This acquisition will take time to come to a close, and it's business as usual, presumably with less sexual harassment. Presumably? Maybe. I don't know. For the next year or so, Sony will continue to sell as many consoles as it can manufacture, and the likes of God of War Ragnarok and Horizon Forbidden West will be big hits. This is going to take time to manifest, and the impact on PlayStation's bottom line will be slow and subtle. But the conversation has been dominated recently by Xbox Game Pass and Sony's rumored Project Spartacus reboot, with the sentiment being that PlayStation simply doesn't have the funds to compete on Microsoft's level. Fine, maybe not. I said this earlier, where to me it seems like Xbox or Microsoft buys a lot of studios, but then does nothing with them. If somebody gets picked up by Sony, I think there are a lot. Sony does, I think, more with less money, and that's kind of what makes them a better pick, in my opinion, over Xbox. I just. Like I said, is Sony going to spend $70 billion on Activision Blizzard? No, because I think that's a really bad decision. Maybe it makes a little bit more sense on Microsoft's side because, the more the PC, because they also focus a little bit more on the PC market. So, they also get World of Warcraft. I'm not sure what platform Overwatch is big, but it's a competitive shooter, so I can assume that it's probably bigger on PC than would be on console. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, the Xbox is really the kind of the little brother to the PC in Microsoft's eyes. I think that's what they focus more on than the Xbox. As much as it bothers me as a console guy, but whatever. Yeah, I just really don't think. Again, I keep saying it. I just don't see all of this coming into it, and I still don't. Everybody, I think people overlook, think Xbox Game Pass and everything. Sorry, just got a text message. Is, I don't want to say overblown, because I hear people who love the service, but I don't know. It's still not going to make me buy an Xbox. Granted, I did buy an Xbox, but not for that. I think you understand what I'm getting at. I think people are overblowing some stuff. Xbox will be bundling every game into its Game Pass subscription, as while the economics and the end goal, which I do not see how the hell that makes Xbox money. Or how that's good for the developers, unless every developer is owned by Xbox. I just do not see how its Game Pass subscription ends up making it more money than saying buy all these individual games. It just, I don't know. Maybe I have a fundamental misunderstanding of Game Pass, but I think so many people are thinking that we're going to see all this stuff go immediately to exclusives for Microsoft. I don't think it's going to immediately happen, and I don't think it's going to happen overall. Everything's going to be focused on Game Pass. Sure, because I think that's what Xbox is trying to do, but I really wonder how viable of a business strategy that's going to be. Everybody was so focused on Stadia for so long, and where the hell has that been? I hear everyone going, "Oh my gosh, Stadia is so cool! Stadia is so cool!" It comes out, kind of works, and everybody's like, "Yeah, okay, let's move on." And that was Google. You want to talk about a company that can literally throw money at anything other than Disney? Again, you kind of get the rest of it. If you want to read the rest of the article, there's not a few paragraphs left. Look, again, I'm beating the dead horse here. I just really think this is an overreaction by the author, and I think the next article I have lined up are some polls. We'll take a look at those, some other Push Square stuff. So give me a second to pull those up. Okay, so I'm going to show two polls here. Again, everything I'm going to show today, Push Square, all that. Again, I actually think this is kind of interesting because this is, I think, what primarily a lot of PlayStation people are probably going to be thinking. Granted, I mean, you don't have to be a PlayStation fan to read this site, but with it being PlayStation focused, I think a lot more PlayStation focused people will be reading it. So therefore, I think this kind of makes some of these polls a little more interesting. But again, take everything as you will. I'm not claiming to be an expert, yada, 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 all that good good stuff that protects me from criticism. No, I always have a rule here. Say I'm wrong all you want. I just don't be an asshole about it. That's always my rule, but whatever. Poll, does Sony need to take action after Microsoft's Activision buyout? Robert Ramsey, again, Push Square. Microsoft jaw-dropping acquisition of Blizzard earlier this week has fundamentally changed the gaming landscape as we know it. The reported $68 billion buyout shows just how ridiculously deep Microsoft's pockets are, and the financial bulk of is something that Sony simply cannot compete with. It leaves the PlayStation maker in an unenviable position, especially with the rampant success of the PS4. Sony has led the industry for so long that this megaton acquisition almost feels surreal. It is quite literally Microsoft buying its way to a future potential market domination, and at this point, it's unrealistic to think that this is the end of the Redmond firm's spending. See, it just small thing. I think they kind of put something that it was kind of rattling around in my brain right there. I think people are acting like Microsoft just making this business decision, and I'm not saying business decisions can't end up helping you in the market, but I think PlayStation, Sony, PlayStation, whatever, has so much more creativity. I think they have better quality studios. I think they have better quality projects. I think they spend their money smarter. There's a reason why maybe Sony has less money instead of blowing $68 billion on Activision, which, again, I keep saying it, let's be honest, is a Call of Duty buyout. Instead of spending all that money there, they're going to put their money to smarter, safer projects. I don't know how you want to phrase it, but I don't see this move as it's going to immediately topple PlayStation, because I think gamers want better quality instead of just shovel crap that Microsoft's going to throw at you. What's the saying? Eat your slop. This just, to me, it feels like a lot of people are saying, oh, if Microsoft can throw enough money at the problem, it's going to make everyone just stop buying PlayStation. I don't believe that for a second. I do not believe that for a second, because I think it's going to, if anything, piss gamers off the more Microsoft just thinks they can just chuck money at it and make good games. Because we're forgetting the other half of this. They have to make good games. Jesus Christ. Sorry, I was cleaning my office and something fell off one of my desks. That's why I'm cleaning my office. Sorry about that. Holy shit, that scared the hell out of me. I talk with my hands a lot, and I was kind of hitting my desk a little bit. Where the hell were we? It's no secret. PlayStation release schedule is very, very strong for 2022. Exclusive titles, blah, blah, blah. Right. Again, all this stuff. Again, you want to read the full articles. Links in the description. I can say it's time to reveal heavily rumored PS Plus overhaul, or would you, this new subscription service, codenamed Spartacus, look downright desperate in the face of the $68 billion buyout, suggest Square Enix, sure, blah, 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 blah. Again, all this stuff. Let's get to the actual meat and potatoes. What I came here for is the poll. Oh, yeah, there was also something, I think everybody's thinking Sony's preparing something. I put it out on Twitter if you want to go over there and check it out. Sony was I think people are thinking Sony is going to push do like a new state of play or have some big reveal or something coming up. So keep an eye out. But the actual point of going through this article, let's take a look at this. So let's take a look at these options. Sony needs to make acquisitions of its own. Sony has to announce rumored PS Plus overhaul. Sony needs to make some big announcements soon. Sony needs to do something, but there's no rush. I honestly don't know, and Sony should just keep doing what it's doing. I'm kind of a combination of these three. I'm like, yeah, I think in some way Sony needs to do something, but I don't think there's a rush. I'd much rather Sony do something smart and well-made as opposed to just running out and buying a studio. You know, I'd much rather them do something thought out, which is, again, what I think Sony does, but okay. I really don't know at the end of the day. I'm not a financial expert. I don't know what goes on in these boardrooms. I don't think they should hire a guy like me. I'm sitting here in a t-shirt with holes in it and sweatpants right now. So I keep saying, take whatever I say for whatever it is, whatever you think it is. And there's a part of me that just thinks Sony should really just do Sony. You know, yeah, I'd like them to make some announcements. Yeah, I'd like them to try and shut everyone up. But at the end of the day, so I'm just going to go, honestly, don't know. Let's see. Yeah, I've seen the results here. Oh, I didn't hit vote. Whatever. So, yeah, it's kind of a lot of people think they need to be making acquisitions of their own. Again, this is only 4,000 some votes. But it's all pretty even, especially when you take in Sony should just keep doing what it's doing. So you could say, you know, at least on this poll, is fairly split. Hopefully that quick edit, you know, didn't throw you all too off while I was trying to change articles. So we have this other poll here. Again, similar kind of poll here. Would PlayStation consoles, or would you still buy PlayStation consoles without Activision Blizzard games? So again, all same stuff that we've been seeing. Yeah, I don't play Activision Blizzard games anyway. Yeah, pretty much. And boom, and this one's got pushing 10,000 votes. So again, this is a very small view of the, very small section that we're viewing of the market and everything. But it kind of shows. It's interesting to me that it seems almost kind of split on at least of the people talking here, of people who think that Sony needs to respond and Sony needs to be doing what it does. But at the end of the day, it seems like more people are going, I'm still going to support PlayStation. I still like what they do over what Xbox does. Doesn't matter what they, maybe it sucks that we might lose Call of Duty, but at the end of the day, that's again, I find those interesting. I don't know. I feel like I had a point and something to actually connect these polls. Let's move on with whatever I was talking about. So this Liam Croft article also pushed Square. Sony responds to Activision Blizzard buyout, expects games to still come to PS5 and PS4. Well, there we go. Again, very short one here. Shut up, Peacemaker. Stop showing me ads. Sony has this morning issued, and this is this morning source from Wall Street Journal. This was Thursday of last week. So Sony has this morning issued a statement in response to Microsoft's $69 billion, I keep seeing different numbers there, 68, 69, whatever, $1 billion deal to purchase Activision. In a quote shared with the Wall Street Journal via a Sony spokesperson, the firm said, and I quote, "We expect that Microsoft will abide by contractual agreements and continue to ensure Activision games are multi-platform," end quote. It's a very short and corporate response. Okay. That gives little away, but it does suggest Sony expects Activision games to hit PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 beyond the closure of the deal at some point next year. Whether that actually happens, though, will be in the hands of Microsoft as the Call of Duty maker begins reporting to Microsoft Gaming CEO Phil Spencer. Ugh, it's like, again, I feel like a ghost has just passed through me when I say that name. It's like Beetlejuice. Any titles? I've said this before, and I'll stand by this joke. Phil Spencer looks like a melted action figure of Todd Howard. Any titles released before that closure should still be free to release on PS4 and PS5 and PS4. At the moment, that just seems to include the rumored Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 from Infinity Ward. Microsoft has already proven in the past it will honor active contracts and deals when it takes control of companies. For example, it didn't stop Deathloop from releasing as a PS5 console exclusive last year, and it hasn't gotten in the way of Ghostwire Tokyo out of Bethesda either. We don't know how long left Sony still has on the Call of Duty marketing deal, so this is one of those contracts that's up for debate in the future. Look, I stand by it. I think, Sony's telling us not to panic in a way. I'm still not panicking. So, and I guess that kind of gives us a somewhat decent segue into this next article by my concept of not panicking. In sort of a total left turn from our first article, Sammy Barker also wrote, analysts expects PS5 to seriously outperform Xbox. Now, this is 2022, and the buyout of Activision and everything will affect stuff more well into the future, but still. Things may be getting hotter in the boardrooms following Microsoft's again. We know this crap. It's the PlayStation 5 that will keep cash registers alight this year. That's according to the Ampere Research Director Pierce Harding Rolls, who believes Sony will sell 18 million new-gen consoles this year to Xbox's 9 million. Well, and this is the thing, with Sony being so focused on console gaming, yes, it's bringing a lot of exclusives to PC, which I'm actually in the thought process that it's smart. It does bring more money into the pockets of Sony Studios, as well as it opens up the market into maybe a PC gamer would also buy a PlayStation 5 for some certain games or certain whatever. It's a good business move on PlayStation's. I get it that some people are like, oh my gosh, we're getting, our exclusives are getting sold out. Yeah, I get that opinion that that I bought Sony with the idea that I'd exclusively get to play this game on Sony, and now it's going to other platforms. I get that, but at the end of the day, you still get to play that game, and Sony is doing a little bit better financially because of it. So, I don't know. I think it's a good move on Sony's part to move some exclusives over to PC. Like, hey, Days Gone, maybe. Hey, Sony. Granted, I've been sticking up for you here, but now I'm gonna say some shit about you. Days Gone 2. How about you fucking make it? That's right. There you go. I'm still pissed about that. I'm never gonna let that one go. But again, this analyst is believing that Sony's going to almost double Xbox's console sales. Now, look, let's be honest. Microsoft's not been focusing on console sales and everything. It's like, they keep trying to bring the Xbox marketing over to PC and everything. It's just, and I think that might be part of what makes Xbox so much of a hard sell, at least to me. You're just trying to make it overly complicated. The Xbox's UI is all over the place. I think Sony's is so smooth, it's so easy to use. That again, I just think when it comes to console gamers, I think Sony is going to dominate that home console market. Xbox is probably going to still survive being subsidized by the PC market, and Nintendo is going to Nintendo. That's kind of how I see it. I think that's kind of the equilibrium we've built up, and I don't see that heavily changing. While it hasn't always felt it on social media of late, it's worth remembering that PS5 is handily outselling its closest competitor globally, although stock shortages for both brands have failed to give us a full picture of demand. Harding Rolls concludes that the new systems will ultimately be bettered by the Nintendo Switch, which has become something of a juggernaut since its launch. And I'm constantly saying I did not expect the Switch to be as well selling as it is, and B, I didn't expect myself to actually pick one up as quickly as I did, and I love my Switch. So I gotta give Nintendo some props there and eat some crow on that one. And I quote, "It looks like the availability of PS5 and Xbox consoles is going to improve slowly over the year, but our expectation is that Sony will outsell Microsoft 2-1, he said. But actually, the biggest selling console in the market is going to be Nintendo Switch at 21 million units, and that will be driven by demand for the new Switch OLED, end quote. Okay, interesting take. I mean, I also think it comes... The reason I've always argued for Nintendo to not really be viewed in the same light as Sony and Xbox. The reason I've always argued that is because I think they, and when I say not viewed in the same light, I don't want to say it should be a lesser light. I think it's like I said earlier, Nintendo is very heavily focused on the mobile market, and mobile as in the DS, the Switch being a mobile, air quotes, console. I'm not talking mobile as in iPhone. I'm talking mobile as in mobile gaming, or handheld gaming. There we go. There's the better term. That Nintendo focuses to a very different portion of the audience. They do very well with the young, do better with the old. I don't want to say the casual gamers as a knock. I mean more casual gamers. The buy-in is less on a Switch than it is on other platforms. So, and I know plenty of people who also have a PS5 and Xbox and whatnot that also have a Switch. I'm one of them. So I get it, but it's like I said, I've always kind of seen the Switch as kind of it's playing its own game, and that's fine. I think it does very well playing its own game. Despite the global pandemic, ongoing semiconductor shortage around the world, Sony actually managed to sell in 10 million PS5s months faster, blah, 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 blah. Okay, all the general stuff there at the end. So, look, man, I'll say it one more time, what I've been repeating this whole video. Sony will be fine. I think people are just panicking, and that's all it is. That's all it is. I don't think Sony needs to freak out. I don't think they need to go run out and buy a whole bunch of studios. I think Sony just needs to keep doing Sony, and they'll be fine. It's my final take on it. Hopefully, you could follow me if you, like I said, I don't script my videos. If you're new to the channel, new to this kind of content for me, I'm very stream conscious, obviously. So sometimes when I'm switching articles, I'll stand up for 10, 15 minutes and kind of rant and kind of plan out my next my next section of video. So, sometimes if it seems like I try and segue and it just kind of drops off, that's why. It's just my style. It's a style choice, shall we say. So, like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm going to do some channel upkeep, some channel announcements. Right now, I am planning on, for new Let's Plays coming up. Pokemon Legends Arceus is on the 27th, so that's actually coming up later this week, so keep an eye out for that. We have Dying Light 2 that I believe is on February 8th, I think is the date. I think soon after that is Sifu on PS5 that we'll be playing. And then the end of February will be marked with Horizon Forbidden West. At least those are the 4 games that I have planned coming up. Other than that, like I said, I am planning on bringing the weekly show back. We will hopefully be going back to weekly episodes. Not this upcoming Thursday. By the way, Thursday is the day that I am moving the show to. It's how it fits up with the way my schedule has been lining up recently for work. So we won't be doing something this week. Just because I have some other obligations and reasons for that. But starting next Thursday, so I'm going to actually pull up the actual date. Next Thursday. This Thursday is the 27th. Next Thursday is the 3rd of February, according to my calendar. we will be doing an episode of the weekly show. And the way I'm kind of scheduling that, the way that I've kind of been doing it, I'm shooting for 2 videos a day, one at 10 a.m. Central, my time zone that I live in. So do the math, however it works. I'm in Indiana, in the U.S. So, however you have to do the math for whatever time zone, and these are the YouTube times. If you watch over on BitChute, usually as soon as it goes up on YouTube, I then set the upload to BitChute. So, usually I try and do it as close to the date times as possible, but there's always a little bit of delay putting it up over on BitChute. So, like I said, so the timing is, like I said, 10 a.m. is the first video on, every day, 10 a.m. Central. 2 p.m. Central is when the second video goes up. Again, those are Let's Play focused. And then finally, the news show on Thursdays will be up at 4 hours later, 6 p.m. Central. So it's 4-hour increments like that. So that's kind of the plan. So again, videos 10 a.m. Central, 2 p.m. Central every day. Thursday, we'll have an extra third video at 6 p.m., which will be the weekly news show. So there you go. Social media, all linked down in the description as usual. Links to the articles we talked about here, so you can go read them as you would like. Follow any hyperlinks or whatever. You can do that down in the description below. Anything else? I feel like there was one other thing I wanted to mention. Right, the Twitter page. Go give me a follow over on Twitter. That's usually where I retweet articles as kind of my own way of archiving stuff on how I know what I'm going to talk about. So go check out that if you'd like. Other than that, like, comment, not already, please subscribe to the channel. I'm noticing my hand shaking. I haven't eaten breakfast. I really need to go eat. So thanks for watching, guys, and until next time, my name's AJ Gels, the Something Game channel. I'm out.